The Veterans Administration is in panic mode. Understaffed, underfunded, and the claims keep coming. So who's to blame? Not the people answering the phones or the doctors giving exams. It's the way the system was built. A system that led to the embezzlement of millions of dollars, saw a VA leader choked out by a sitting president, had tens of thousands of vets camping out across the Capitol twice, and even led to the untimely death of some veterans. This is Charles Forbes. He deserted the Army 2 months after enlisting, got dragged back, and ended up fighting in the Philippines and later in France during World War I. Somewhere in there, he made a name for himself. Years later, working as a naval engineer in Hawaii, he met a vacationing senator over a poker game. Forbes bet on him. That senator was Warren G. Harding, soon to be president. Harding bet right back and made Forbes the first director of the new Veterans Bureau. Worst bet Harding ever made. The new bureau was granted $500 million to take care of World War I vets. That's nearly $6 billion in today's money. And Forbes embezzled nearly $2 million of it, equal to over $30 million today. He siphoned money from the construction of veterans' hospitals, sold medical supplies, and took bribes and kickbacks from contractors. And while he was doing all that, he was also rejecting veterans' claims, hundreds of thousands of them. When Harding found out, he demanded Forbes resign. Instead, Forbes fled to Europe with a wife, not his wife, the wife of a fellow conspirator, Elias H. Mortimer. When Forbes finally showed his face at the White House, Harding grabbed him by the throat. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and furious. He called him a double-crossing bastard. Forbes was tried and sentenced to prison for conspiracy to defraud the government. Mortimer was happy to testify against him. Now World War I vets are feeling used. They missed out on the high civilian wages that overshadowed theirs in the war, and are now struggling to find jobs in the post-war recession. In an attempt to pacify the veterans, Congress passed the World War Adjusted Compensation Act in 1924, also known as the Bonus Act. It would compensate vets up to $625. That's about $11,250 in 2025. The only catch? They'd have to wait 11 years to collect it. Veterans would only make it 8 years before they said, "It's my money and I need it now." In 1932, a group of 43,000 demonstrators, including 17,000 vets and family members, descended to Washington demanding their compensation early. They quickly became known as the Bonus Army. The Attorney General ordered them off all government property. 2 veterans were wounded and later died when police began shooting the protesters. The new president, Herbert Hoover, was already being criticized for Hoovervilles, shanty towns set up across the nation during the Great Depression, so he probably wasn't too keen on encampments of unemployed vets popping up over the Capitol. Hoover sent in the army, led by General MacArthur, to clear these camps. At first, MacArthur had actually helped the demonstrators, sending them camp equipment and mobile kitchens. But by this point, he believed the demonstrators had been taken over by communists. He brought out the cavalry, bayonets, and even tanks to get rid of the veterans. Live newsreel footage of the event was broadcast, and citizens across the nation saw tear gas used on their own veterans. The backlash helped to sink Hoover's re-election that year. By 2014, the Veterans Bureau is now the Department of Veterans Affairs, with a history of reformations and consolidations from other government agencies. It had just seen a period of unprecedented growth, patient treatment, and benefit extensions. But now it seemed things were slowing down. Critics were reporting long wait times and difficulty accessing medical care. And then a whistleblower from Phoenix, Arizona, revealed that he believed upwards of 40 veterans had died because of delays in getting care. This started an in-depth investigation into over 24 veterans' hospitals and facilities. The investigation was able to confirm 28 instances of clinically significant delays, including 6 deaths. On top of this, it was discovered that wait time manipulations were running rampant across the Veteran Health Administration. All of this done just to prioritize meeting performance metrics over actual veteran care. As a result of the investigation, Secretary of Veterans Affairs Eric Shinseki resigned, and President Obama signed the bipartisan Veterans Access to Care Through Choice, Accountability, and Transparency Act into law the same year. Veterans benefits were starting to look better when, in 2022, a new bill covering veterans exposed to burn pits passed in the Senate, 84-14. A technical issue was found with the bill, and a revised version needed to pass in the Senate again. By this time, 25 Republicans flipped their vote. Just like the Bonus Army, veterans once again came to camp out in the Capitol. This time, they camped outside for 5 days. The pressure from veterans and activist groups led the Senate to cave, and President Biden signed the Honoring Our PACT Act of 2022, the largest expansion of VA care in the agency's history. Over the next 2 years, the VA would increase its staff by almost 60,000 to address more than 1 million new claims. Last year, over 80,000 VA employees, including many hired under PACT Act funding, were targeted for firing following a DOJ assessment. Pressure from unions and lawmakers pushed that number down to 30,000. Still, that's 30,000 fewer people processing a system already buried in claims. The U.S. keeps sending people to war, the veteran population keeps growing, and the VA keeps trying to do more with less. Fewer staff, bigger backlog, higher expectations. VA employees can't process 1 million claims and help veterans file them at the same time. That's the gap companies like VetClaims.ai exist to close. We help veterans get what they've already earned. We've seen 100 years of scandals, cover-ups, and broken promises. The system keeps failing the people who served it. It's time that changed, and we can't do it without you. If you need help navigating this system, reach out to our veteran experts at VetClaims.ai.